Chapter 6. Love. Your heart is going to be broken. What you do with the pieces is the real lesson. I have found that love is purely a feeling. It's not an action, although actions signify love for a person, a child, or even a group. When love is truly unconditional, it is a feeling. The best way I can describe it is love makes your heart smile. The reason I choose to explain love more as a feeling as opposed to an action is because we all have our moments. Bad days at work, the kids getting on our nerves, the person who cut you off on your way home, and so on. When your love for your partner is explained or defined as or by an action, then there's no room for your partner to love themselves. All of us have had struggles. I have learned that no matter what stranger you may come across in this life, we are all dealing with some sort of struggle or fear or adversity. Though our adversities vary from person to person, it is in no way minimized for that individual. My struggles may be different from yours, but I am coping with them in relatively the same manner as you. When times get hard, we seek love and security. For example, when the teenager has an accident in the family car, they may feel overwhelmed and afraid. This is not a foreign feeling or emotion than that of the adult who has lost a credit card to collection, or the toddler is lost in the mall. We all have different triggers, but we all feel the same emotions. These emotions remind us we are alive. Every human being experiences love. Yes, even the murderers and rapists have experienced love at some point in their lives. Love is an emotion that is part of our human makeup. We all express and receive love differently, but make no mistake, love is as real to you as it is to me. The beauty of love is that it can be expressed and received differently. Some individuals thrive on hearing loving words, while others need to physically feel a person love them. Others fill up on love by witnessing love, as in seeing a father twirl his little girl around in a busy airport, or watching a young couple stroll through the mall with their hands locked together. This is how I fill up on love. Of course, I enjoy when someone loves me and shares sweet and encouraging words with me, but what really brings a smile to my face is seeing others love each other. I love watching parents buy their kiddos one more scoop of ice cream, and that's it. I love watching a husband and a wife share their food at a restaurant. I love seeing a coach put more responsibility on a particular player. I love watching a brother and sister hand each other presents on Christmas morning. I love seeing a friend carry another friend out of a bar, even though that friend is slurring the words, "party pooper." I genuinely love witnessing beauty in the world. It is the way my heart fills up with love. Reflection. What fills your heart up with love? Chapter 7. No fear. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Nelson Mandela. I am not immune to fear. I have had many fears across my lifespan and still struggle with some new and old fears today. Fear can be used in two ways. It can become a motivator or a debilitator. It is simply a choice of how you want to use your own fears. I never used to fear flying. I joined the military and selected a career that would give me the opportunity to achieve one of my boyhood dreams, to see the world. By the end of age 21, I was fortunate enough to have traveled to many countries I had only imagined seeing in my youth. It was amazing for me to know that contrasting cultures and people were so different, yet so similar. This unique opportunity also came with a downside. I was involved in terrifying scenarios, at least for me. Flight is no mystery. It is simply physics and Bernoulli's principle at work. Lift must overcome drag. But what do you do when there is no lift and you're only 1,000 feet above the terrain? I prayed. At the completion of one of my first flights during Operation Enduring Freedom, my crew and I came very close to losing our lives. I was a newlywed of only 6 months and can remember thinking to myself after the incident, that was almost the fastest $400,000 my wife would have ever made. We were on final, and all crew members had the runway in sight. It was a clear night, approximately 02:45 local time, and it was the co-pilot's turn to land. Like me, It was his first deployment, and we both probably totaled 500 hours of flight time together. The pilot and the engineer were experienced crew members with far more hours of flight time. As we were approaching the runway, the co-pilot looked at the pilot and said, "Did you do that?" The pilot responded, "No, did you?" The aircraft then started to fall straight down. The pilot grabbed the yoke and began pulling up. The co-pilot froze. The flight engineer grabbed the throttles and firewalled them, pushed all 3 engines to max power, while giving instructions to the pilot. I grabbed my harness and the side of the window and began to pray. Luckily, we survived. I later found out we'd experienced a very dangerous weather phenomenon called a microburst. I carried that fear of microburst with me for a long time. I became a student of it. I even learned how to spot them in the distance. I flew with a lot of great aviators, but I never got over that fear. Instead, I chose to use it as a teaching tool to new aviators in the hopes that they would never have to experience it in their career, and if they did, they would know how to react to it. I'm a very social individual. I pride myself on the ability to hold a conversation with many different walks of life, from elders to teenagers, white to black, gay to straight, and man to woman. I usually can relate to them in some way and have a meaningful and fun conversation. In my talks and interactions with different individuals, I've learned that people tend to fear the same things. We fear death. We fear losing a loved one. We fear infidelity. We fear not being good enough. We fear judgment. And a lot of Americans nowadays fear the future. All these fears are valid and have their roots in fact, but we must not let these fears limit us. The best way to conquer fear is to embrace it, accept it, question it, and meet it head on. Chapter 8, Enough. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Jimi Hendrix. I am a U.S. veteran of OIF, OEF, and OND, and the one thing I've learned in my travels with the military is that we are all the same. Humanity, with its flaws and awes, is the same no matter what country you visit. We all have families, both traditional and non-traditional, that we love. War and conflict rip these families apart. I can remember my first deployment and my very first mission over Afghanistan. I was shaken and confused. We took off, and the flight was as normal as standard training mission stateside, with a few minor safety precautions. We arrived at our designated spot in the area of responsibility and waited for our first activity, a receiver aircraft, to show up for refueling. After a short wait, the first of 2 F-16s arrived. He was loaded to the hilt with munitions. We offloaded somewhere between 2,000 to 4,000 pounds of fuel to each receiver. The first air refueling was complete, and I thought to myself, this isn't what my grandpa talked about. This is simple. Then the call came over the radio that the same receivers we just refueled would be returning for fuel. This was different. It was not even an hour before they filled their tanks. I will never forget the feeling of seeing the same receivers return with little to no munitions on their wings. I thought to myself, I just contributed to the death of some unlucky men that day. I was indirectly involved in the destruction of some building. I was part of the reason a little girl or boy wouldn't be able to hug their father again. This shook me to the core, and I kept that feeling for the remainder of my tour. I never got used to those missions, despite numerous deployments. I never got used to the thought of helping another human being in the life of someone I have never looked in the eye. That's war, right? You're either on the good guy's side or the bad guy's side, and that fact is up for interpretation. What then if there isn't a good guy's side or a bad guy's side? What if there's just a difference in belief or a need for more money? What if all the fighting in the world were to end? Can you imagine? I can, and I have. I was just a boy then from Mississippi. I came from a large, low-income family. I had no father growing up, so my grandfather, a Vietnam veteran, often filled the role of father. I used to love his stories of the military and his laughter. I don't know much about Vietnam besides what I've heard from the veterans at my VFW post. I did not fight in that war. I did not lose any friends or relatives to that war, but I can tell you that I have felt the sting of that war through my encounters with those veterans. Veterans are funny people. They don't like to take credit for their sacrifice to America, but they love to reminisce. I personally love to hear their stories. For me, it is awesome to see their faces light up when they are remembering a shitty platoon commander or a buddy who smoked a lot of pot. I take pleasure in knowing that I can count myself among the great warriors of Vietnam, the Korean War, and World War II. As a veteran, I've had the unique opportunity to experience many different cultures, customs, and religions. I have come to understand one fact. War, hate, and envy are tearing us apart as a world community. In this day and age, we have the ability to communicate with each other across time zones, miles, and languages. We have become closer to each other by way of advancements in communication. In all my travels and interactions, I've found there are two things that transcend our differences and connect us on a human level. We all love and cherish our families and our countries, so much so that we are willing to die for both. Yet I offer an alternative. Let us all live for the two and take every opportunity to look our brothers and sisters in the eye and offer a handshake rather than a fist. Chapter 9. Fun questions to ask yourself. 1. If you could change one thing about your country, what would it be? 2. Let's say reincarnation is real. What or who would you want to come back to Earth as? An animal, insect, plant, or human? Which one and why? 3. If you only had 1 week to live, how would you spend it? Money is no object in this scenario. 4. Are you happy in your current relationship or friendships? If not, how can you repair them? 5. Who inspires you or has inspired you, and why? 6. No matter what age we are, we as human beings are continuously growing. What do you want to be when you grow up? 7. If you had one do-over, what would you use it on? 8. Which dinosaur would you have been, and why? 9. What's your favorite smell? 10. What's your favorite thing or person to look at? 11. What's your favorite thing or person to touch? 12. What's your favorite sound? 13. What's your favorite food? 14. When was the last time you lost your breath laughing? What or who caused it? Chapter 10. Romantic relationships. I still haven't figured this one out. Of course I've been in love, but haven't been able to hold on to it. I'm sure the women I have shared my heart with could tell you why. Feel free to write in the space provided what true romantic love and a romantic relationship means to you. I'd love to read your thoughts if you don't mind sharing them with me. Visit theycallmeadreamer.com to share your story of what a romantic relationship is. In my opinion, love is a feeling, not an action.